Hey guys, and welcome to another one of my Mashin Sentai KiraMager episode commentary and reviews. This time it's episode 12, Wonder Drill Boy. Let's get into the episode. The episode opens with Juru arriving at HQ to find a changer on the table. It turns out to be Sayo's, who left it during maintenance when she was called out to a mountain rescue. Though Mabushina is feeling anxious due to an old Crystallian saying. In the mountains, an injured Sayo is sat by a river with a twisted ankle and no signal, as she regrets letting everyone else on the helicopter because she forgot she didn't have her changer, and then twisting her ankle when she fell. She's distracted from her flashback by a guy arriving, calling himself Takemichi as he's walking along the river, before starting to walking away and laughing when she stops him. Back at HQ, Helico is saying she can't trace Sayo's Kira mentality because of miasma around the mountain, as Mabushina sends out Jetto and Helico to find her. On the mountain, Takemichi has applied a medicine to Sayo's wound, before wrapping it, saying she'll be fine in a couple of hours, before making to leave. But Sayo stops him again, asking for help, but he declines, saying he's on important business, as he consults a book, while referencing the same saying as Mabushina. Sayo is desperate for help and offers to do anything, though has to admit she doesn't know what Mamalina Funifuni is, though she still agrees to it. Over in Jotunheim, Garza can sense something, distracting him enough to dismiss Tarantula, who just decides to do what he wants to anyway. Back on Earth, a maskman has arrived by an observatory that Muryu tells Juru is a top secret site for extraterrestrial threats, as he sends out the Rangers. On the mountain, Takemichi is helping Sayo by carrying her strapped to his back while looking at his book before using a device on his wrist to scan the area, as he explains to Sayo it's to help him find treasure, and that his notebook contains hints to the treasure's location. The Rangers arrive just as the maskman sets his sight on the satellite. They transform, but the maskman warns them off before calling down meteorites to attack the Rangers. In the mountains, Takemichi is having trouble finding his treasure, despite being sure that it should be close by. On his back, Sayo gets an idea, asking for his notebook, and when he turns around for her, she uses the torn page to line it up with a cliff face, identifying the location of the treasure, as Takemichi thanks her and walks on, just as Jetto and Helico fly overhead looking for her, as the other Rangers struggle with the meteor shower. Walking along, Takemichi finds a cave before his scanner alerts him to a find, and setting Sayo down, he summons Shiny Breaker, much to Sayo's surprise, before using it to dig. At the observatory, Shigeru uses his sword to cut the meteors in half, as their foe is revealed to be Meteor Mask Man, and he has summoned an even bigger meteor to Earth. In the cave, Takemichi is digging away when Sayo asks who he really is, but her question goes unanswered as he breaks through, removing the rubble to find a stone. Though it turns into a monster, as Takemichi reveals it to be a Monstone. But as he stands over Sayo to protect her, the Monstone turns and heads out of the cave, and Takemichi follows after it, flying with his shiny breaker. In the skies, Helico can now sense Sayo again, and the three turn to head for her. Over at the observatory, the Rangers are ready to finish off the Maskman, but are stopped by the Monstar as it possesses the Maskman and powers it up. As even Tamatomo's blasts prove ineffective, it attacks, blasting the four Rangers away. In the mountains, the machines have found Sayo, and they turn into Sky Mage, as she tells them they need to hurry. Meanwhile, the Maskman has found the others, as he charges them, intending to finish them off, when the Maskman is attacked by Shiny Breaker, causing a surprise to Muryu at base, as even Fire Red recognises the new arrival. Telling the rookies to stand aside, he introduces himself to the Maskman as Crystalia Takemichi, before activating his wrist device and transforming into Kurame Silver, much to the other's shock. As the Betchets attack with heavy machinery, Silver takes the hit, but is able to stop the truck, just as Sayo and Shina arrive on Sky Mage. Using Shiny Breaker, Silver defeats all the Betchats, as he challenges the Maskman, who drops some meteors on him, but Silver knocks them aside before single-handedly defeating the Odin, and finishing him off with a shining beam attack. Everyone seems impressed, except Muryu, who leaves the HQ looking unhappy. Powered down, he greets the others and asks about Sayo's leg, as she's surprised she's fully healed, before he approaches her and kisses her on the cheek, saying now it's her turn, as she had promised Mamalina Funifuni. Accepting her promise, she kisses Takemichi on the cheek, to the shock of the other Rangers, before Mabushina runs up, calling him her brother, and as he greets her, she slaps him, asking where he's been and why wasn't he there when Jotunheim invaded, as the others can only look on, and the episode ends. Okay, so I want to start by saying nothing against the Kiramai Changer. I think it's brilliant. It's a wonderful little thing. However, it is quite bulky when you've got it on your wrist. And I can only just make this one fit if I really squeeze it. Get on there. Now, this is a weight on my wrist. Yeah? I mean, even if, like, I ignore the fact that the strap is very, very tight on my arm, this is a weight. And this is just a toy. This is a kid's toy. I mean, this is an adult collectible sold as a kid's toy because it's not the collectible version. This is not a real thing. It's a replica with lights and sounds and very fun to have. If this was real, if this was to really have the technology in it to call people and summon weapons and henshin, which is what all these parts are, and a lovely little spinny bit to power it up or engage it, I'm pretty sure this would weigh more than what I bought from Japan. Now, my arm is actually getting tired holding it up already. I mean, partly because of an injury, but, you know, just having it on my hand, even like letting my hand down, I can feel it. I feel it on my arm. They are bulky, they are awkward. You know, even just moving my arm around, just that extra weight there, I can feel it. It's like having those little padded weights for when you're working out or just exercising. You just put the weights on your wrists and ankles to give yourself a little bit more of a workout. That's what this is. This is just like a little weight. You do not forget when you have this on. You certainly don't have a near skin tight coat that you pull off and go, oh, I'm not wearing my KiraMager changer. I think you'd notice. You know, you don't have to pull the sleeve back like Sayo did. You know, it was just, you know, her putting the sleeve back and going, oh, I forgot I don't have it. It's like, kind of obvious. You know, the real ones must be pretty heavy to have all that stuff. Maybe not like heavy, but even so, you don't forget that you're wearing it or you're not wearing it. Because if you're not, I mean, your arm just feels so much lighter without even this on. And this is another thing about Sayo. I mean, I'm a trained first aider. I'm not a medical professional in any sense of the word. But I still know about rice. You have a sprain or strain. You rest it, which, okay, yes, she was doing. She was sat by the river. She was resting it. You ice it. I mean, there was a stream flowing right in front of her. I'm sure that would have been cold. That would have like done the ice bit, cooling it down. Compression. I don't know if leaving her sock and shoe on counts for that. Maybe. And then the last one, E. R-I-C-E. Elevate. She wants to lift it up. Not be sat there and just have her feet on the floor and going, oh, my poor foot. She's supposed to be a medical professional. You know, at the very least, she should have, like, you know, lain on her back and put her foot up in the air on top of a rock or cooled it in the river. Either one of those would have helped. But she didn't. And I'm disappointed in that, because that could have been a good teaching moment in a show like this, which, okay, let's be honest, it's meant for children. Teach them. She sprained her ankle. At least provide the proper treatment. Or improvise the proper treatment for where she is. So that if a kid's out and they sprain their ankle while they're out, hopefully they wouldn't, or they'd have an adult with them. But they'd at least know what to do to help themselves out. And I'm kind of confused about Takamichi as well. Because he asked for Mamalina Funefune. I mean, granted, at the end, he kisses Sayo on the cheek and gets her to kiss him on the cheek. But, you know, that's basically saying, oh yeah, you promised me a kiss. Not, you promised me Mamalina Funefune. Which is... it's weird. It's weird. One thing I did like I mean, not saying I didn't like any of the rest of it, but one thing I do particularly like about this episode is we've got a new enemy type introduced. Or, I mean, I'd say enemy type. I mean, they're sort of an enemy on their own, but they also, because these Monstones are like Kirame stones, but they're dumb and aggressive. And it turns out they can also possess people. And when I say possess people, that includes the Mask Men. Because when this Monstone possessed Meteor Mask Man, it powered him up. So that's pretty cool. And also goes to show that Kirame Silver, as in the long tradition of 6th Rangers, is stronger than all the other Rangers. Or possibly just more experience? Hard to tell. But, yeah. The others can't beat him, but then Takemichi comes in, turns into Kirame Silver, and beats him on his own. Is that experience or strength? Let me know what you think. I mean, I'm interested to know what other people think. I don't often say, you know, oh, let me know in the comments what you think about this. I always want to know. I just never remember to say. So, you know, if you think it's strength, let me know. If you think it's experience, because he did call the others rookies. Or is it a bit of both? And also, he's Mabashina's brother. He's a 6th Ranger, and he flies using his pneumatic drill like Thor's hammer. Just throws it up in the air and it pulls him off. Phrasing. And he flies through the sky using it. But it also makes you wonder, because Muryu and Fire Red both recognised him. Now, if he is truly Mabashina's brother, somehow, then okay, yes, the Kirame Stones, the machines, would recognise him because they're from Crystallia. They were, I believe they're embedded in the throne itself. So I'm sure they would have seen him, probably. But why wasn't Muryu happy to see him? Maybe we'll find out in episode 13, Great Underground War. And if you want to find out, maybe click that subscribe button. And don't forget that bell icon so you get notified when new videos come out. And I'll see you then.